In Western reports on Xinjiang, they often focus on surveillance cameras, wires, and fences. The implication is clear, but it doesn't mention cameras and fences are standard for schools across the world. A recent report suggests the US has the highest number of CCTV cameras per person in the world. Would you have ever imagined that harmless kindergarten would be described by BBC as
this kindergarten for the children of detainees?
But we found that the children's parents live and work nearby and pick them up and send them off to the kindergarten every day. BBC says
only Chinese should be spoken.
But we see children switch languages between Mandarin and Uyghur at their will.
Simply trying to make a story, dramatize it, then you should be a movie maker, right? You should not be a journalist. Journalism is supposed to report the facts and let people draw their own conclusions. But instead, what they're doing is they're imposing their own views. I meet many journalists here and they always say the same thing to me. Well, the editors don't like the positive stories because they don't sell news. So yeah, there's a lot more negative. You're really not trying to be a professional. You're simply trying to sell a storyline, to sell news.
A Uyghur woman named Zumra Dawood is often featured on the Western media. She claims that she was detained in a re-education camp and that her father died while being detained by the Xinjiang government. But we found Zumra's brothers in Urumqi and they denied her claims.
兄弟姐妹6个人关系最铁的就是我。爸爸去世的时候，我当场我在陪着我爸爸。当时爸爸是因为什么去世？心脏病。去世之前。他岁数也是高龄，要84岁。您知道他没有去过，但他又在外面说他去过，看这件事。他想的啥东西，我能知道的吗？我估计他。脑子非常简单的，可能到那个地方，可能别人把他忽悠起来了吧。
It seems that to do a Western media report, all you need to do is scrape together a few bits of unfounded reports, dreadful tale to spin, and a sympathetic figure like Zumra Dawood.
These people, and they're telling, quote, a personal tale, but you cannot verify that it's true. Are there abuses happening in Xinjiang? I believe it 100%. But the people who are responsible for that, if they're caught, they will be sent to prison. So this idea that the government is encouraging sadists to torture children and mothers and grandmothers and just beat them for no reason doesn't even make sense. Not given what China has accomplished and done.
You know, the journalists who go to Xinjiang, they always seem to report on what they've concluded before arriving, rather than reporting on what they actually see on the ground with their own eyes. And I've interacted with one of these journalists who visited the vocational training centers in Xinjiang, and he described them as being like Nazi concentration camps, where weirdly the prisoners, so to speak, could go home on the weekends, but he also said that he saw people in cages. Now, this particular journalist produced a number of videos, so I asked him to point me towards the ones that would show this, and he kept dodging the question before finally admitting he didn't actually see people in cages.
In a clothing factory in Hotan, we met with Tusunisa Ali. She graduated from one of those vocational education and training centers that Western media are happy to call internment camps.
2017年8月份参加过这个培训的，我在里面学到了国语、法律知识，还有这个缝纫技术。我是2019年3月份的时候就应聘过来在这上班的。 刚来的时候，我就是像一个普通的员工，他们就慢慢的就发现我这个缝纫方面有技术，然后他们就让我当了一个小组长。技术师傅他们发现我有这个国语水平的能力，然后他们就让我当上了这个管理员。现在我就负责整个车间。
这个国语提高会影响您的文化身份吗？
维语是我的母语，我永远都不会忘记的。我学了就是多了一条路。我的宗教活动这个不会影响到我的工作的，因为我对自己有要求嘛。上班是上班，宗教活动就是宗教活动，两个都是分开的，不会掺和在一起的。
As Tusnisa embraces her freedom of religion and opportunities, it can be hard to imagine the religious extremism in Xinjiang that has destroyed lives like hers. Bahagul Arkan's voice tightens when she begins to talk about her past.
Çünkü ben özümüzün bir arzusu boldu demde öykülük men toy qılsam ata-anam türlü bir xizmat qilsam, bir tamaq etpesem öykül hoş olsa dep menda özüm toy qılgız kelmegen asası.
She was only 14 when her father informed her that she was to be the seventh wife of the religious extremist in a village in Kashgar, Xinjiang.
Toydan keyin bir xil qo'rqinchli qarang dunyoda yashagandek bir turmush kechirdim. Urib-tilab pulqamni anglamak qilib qo'ygan ekan. Ro'y jihatdan o'zimizdagi besimchilik uchirgan erkinlik turmush yo'q. O'zimizdagi berib kelish turmush tahi yo'q. Madaniy kiyim-kechak tahi yo'q. O'zimizdagi madaniy turmush bo'lmagan ekan.
From 1990 to 2016, Xinjiang was blighted by terrorist attacks in which hundreds of people were killed. Bahagul was one of the lucky ones. She found haven in a vocational education center in Xinjiang, a place that offers not only solace from those living in fear, but helps them build up work skills.
Men mektepke 2018-yılı 10-njy aýda bardım. Men mektep bargança şaraty pek ýaxşy eken. Özümniki döwletli kesip özümüzgi kanun bilimlerini öýrendik. Kıyan kılmışy kanunsuz ekenligini bildim. Toýkyt amatyr toýkygalygymy kanunsuz ekenligini bildim.
Bahagul now has a loving family and happy life. She is taking care of a neighbor's baby at home, a safer and easier job during the COVID-19 outbreak. Yet these efforts in China to tackle religious radicalization and help people like Bahagul caught in its grip has been demonized by Western media. A user of the video app TikTok going by the name Holly915 was a community worker in Xinjiang. When her child visited her, she could meet her only briefly because of concerns over COVID-19. But the video was widely circulated on Western social media as proof that China was detaining people's various ethnic groups in Xinjiang.
在疫情期间，我们不是为了防疫，在社区给居民服务，将近40天没能见上孩子。有一天我就特别想他，就过来在大门口，在栏杆里面，我进不去，他出不来，我就在那亲了一下。很简单的一个妈妈想孩子的一个抖音，会搞成这样子，我很愤怒，很生气。我爷爷到我们还有我们孩子都是生在新疆，住在新疆长大的，我们都是很团结的。
The day before we left Xinjiang, we visited a tea house in the old city of Kashgar. Seeing us, a group of musicians offered to put on a special performance for us. The air was crisp and chilly, but the aroma of tea and naan in the house teased our noses and warmed our bones. The music was powerful and riveting, expressing the hospitality of Xinjiang people and their future aspirations. Our eyes widened and we were moved to tears. Some may want to treat these people as political tools, but their beauty and decency put them far above all such abuse.
抖音